Spring is the time when colors bloom and savings unfold inside the new spring catalog from True Value hardware stores. Prune limbs with this Poland 14-inch gas chainsaw, just $129.99. It has a guide bar and cushion grip. Then turn small branches into mulch with this Black & Decker garden shredder, only $149.88. And this Rhino wheelbarrow with tough poly tray from True Temper is just $34.95, less a $5 mail-in rebate. Look for it in the new spring catalog from participating True Value hardware stores.
Only you.
Just because you've washed your car doesn't mean you're finished. After each wash, you need some Armor All on the dash, the bumper, and especially the tires. Armor All, it's the finishing touch every time you wash your car.
You're my dream.
And now, introducing Clean Start, the new cleaner which safely removes tough dirt. Clean Start, only from Armor All products.
Millions of miles and millions of cars, more of them every year. They're riding on Kendall Motor Oil. That's what I hear.
Every year, more Americans discover the protection that only comes with the unique, pure quality of Kendall Motor Oil.
They're riding on Kendall Motor Oil, year after year.
Kendall, protection worth its weight in gold for more than 100 years.
And welcome back to Road to the Cup. I'm Tom Mees in our studios. After one period in Edmonton, the Oilers, with a couple of goals in the last 4 minutes, have taken a 2-1 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. Now let's recap last night's activity in the Prince of Wales Conference Divisional Finals. Let's begin at the Montreal Forum with the Adams Division Final between the Quebec Nordiques and the Montreal Canadiens. We'll pick this one up in the first period. No score. Mats Naslund carrying the puck in. Falls down, but gives a perfect pass to Shane Corson. And a nice save is made here by Mario Gosselin to keep the game scoreless. Still no score. Second period. John Ogrodnik breaks in on Brian Hayward, playing in place of Patrick Roy. And Hayward with a great kick save. It's still 0-0. Still no score. Larry Robinson shoots from the slot. Gosselin makes the save for the Nordiques. Claude Lemieux thinks he's put in the rebound, but the replay shows clearly that Gosselin got a pad on it and then got the glove down just in time before the puck crossed the red line. Now, Paul Gillis behind the net for Quebec in the third period. Beautiful centering pass. There's Gillis. Backhand pass to Michel Goulet unmarked, and Goulet scores, make it 1-0. 17 seconds later, Risto Siltanen shot from the point is a save, but the rebound comes out to Basil McRae of all people. He makes it 2-0. Then Ryan Walters, the Canadiens open up the Jets a little bit on the power play. Let's go from the slot, and it's Walter with the goal, beating Mario Gosselin low to the left side there, but the Quebec Nordiques play good defense down the stretch. They won the game 2-1. They lead the series 2-0, and they go home for game number 3 tomorrow night at Le Colisée. Now in the Patrick Division Finals, big game last night between the Flyers and the Islanders at the Spectrum. The Flyers came in leading this series 1-0. The Islanders came in fresh, though. They finally had a day to rest up from that 4-overtime marathon that they played last Saturday night in Washington. And the Islanders, of course, well, they even up the series, and let's see how they did it. Islanders put on the pressure. Shot by Pat LaFontaine. Saved by Ron Hextall. Harry Hanpa picks up the loose puck. Hextall just sees it in time. Keeps it from going over the line. Philadelphia on the other end. Kelly Eklund, puck handling, tries to shoot over Kelly Rudy in the corner, but it hits the post. Good goaltending on both sides. 7:20 left in the period. Islanders come close. Shot picked up by Greg Gilbert in front. Trottier shoots. The puck slides behind Hextall, but not over the line. Second angle. Let's watch it again. Ryan Trottier tries to jam it through. Goes across the crease, but doesn't go behind the goal line. Scott Mellenby for the Flyers shoots. Saved by Rudy. Lindsey Carson on the rebound. And another poster job. Still no score. Third period. Kelly Eklund from the point shoots. Rudy with a save, but he gives up the rebound here, and Doug Crossman is left to shovel it in. 1-0 Flyers, but the Islanders fight back on a power play just 9 seconds into the man advantage. Pat LaFontaine back to Dennis Potvin, back in the lineup after injury. He scores to tie it at 1. Then after too many men on the ice penalty, 3 seconds in the game, power play goal by Mikko Makela. And the New York Islanders win a big one in Philadelphia, the game they had to win. They win the game 2-1. The series is even. Game number 3 in that series tomorrow night at the Nassau Coliseum on Uniondale, Long Island. And our Road to the Cup continues with more from the studio in a moment. After one period in Edmonton, it's the Oilers with 2 goals in the last 4 minutes, leading the Winnipeg Jets 2-1. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Now Now there's more reason than ever to charge on over to Nick Chevrolet in Tarentum. Their selection of new and used cars and trucks is magnificent. Nick Chevrolet has customized vans in stock, new and used Corvettes, Celebrities, Camaros, Chevettes, Cavaliers, and more. Great financing rates and customer satisfaction guaranteed. So charge on over to Nick Chevrolet in Tarentum. Take exit 14 off Route 28 in Tarentum and make a right at the second light.
We in America have faith in the future. Faith in our land, our families, our homes. Faith that we will work together to make tomorrow better. This tradition of faith is part of our heritage. At Rasevich Funeral Homes, this tradition lives on. For a pre-arrangement conference without obligation, call the Rasevich family of funeral directors, serving Arnold and Lower Borough, 335-4118.
It starts early. A distant rumble. You can feel it getting closer. Magical, unstoppable. NHL hockey. Feel the thunder.
Terry Bradshaw. 18. Jim Plunkett. Franco Harris. Walter Payton. Tony Dorsett. Touchdown! Earl Campbell.
He's going to go all the way.
Phil Simms. John Elway.
3:15.
Pro football careers begin with the NFL Draft. Catch the excitement with the all-important first pick, beginning Tuesday morning, live only on ESPN.
After one period in Edmonton on our road to the Cup tonight, it is the Edmonton Oilers leading the Winnipeg Jets 2-1. Back with more hockey in just a few minutes from Edmonton. You know, the National Hockey League welcomed back an old friend today. Herb Brooks, who coached the New York Rangers for a 4-year span earlier in the decade, has returned to the professional ranks after a couple of years away with St. Cloud State in Minnesota. Brooks was named the new head coach of the Minnesota North Stars today in Minneapolis. Brooks had many chances to return to the NHL before now. We asked him why now and why Minnesota.
It just seemed to be the right thing to do now. Before I was, for whatever reason, maybe I just had to get away and charge my batteries, reflect, regroup my thoughts and energies, but it wasn't nobody's fault, and I probably wasn't the easiest person to deal with a couple of years ago, but at this point, everything felt comfortable and it felt right for me, and I accepted the opportunity when it was presented to me the other day.
Herb Brooks referred a moment ago not being easy to get along with. He was referring to his tenure in New York. In New York, Brooks is reported to have sometimes had stormy relationships with New York Ranger management, but he says he'll feel much more comfortable playing for his old friend, General Manager Lou Nanne.
Well, Lou and I go way back many years, and as I said at the outset, I feel very comfortable, you know, working for Lou, and I feel very comfortable with Glenn Sonmore, the assistant general manager and chief scout, and the trainer, a good friend of mine, and Murray Oliver and J.P. Parisi, the whole family there. I've known them for a long time, and there is a good comfort zone, but there's obviously expectations that we have and needs of one another that we can play off of one another. So I've known Lou for so long that maybe I probably know when to talk and when not to talk, and when to stand up and when to walk. So I don't look at that as a problem at all.
Herb Brooks, welcome back to the National Hockey League, the new coach of the Minnesota North Stars. Of course, he was a hero in the college ranks and the Olympic ranks as well. We'll see what he does with the North Stars of the NHL. The road to the Cup continues in a moment. It's 2-1, Edmonton after 1.
We in America have faith in the future. Faith in our land, our families, our homes. Faith that we will work together to make tomorrow better. This tradition of faith is part of our heritage. At Rasevich Funeral Homes, this tradition lives on. For a pre-arrangement conference without obligation, call the Rasevich family of funeral directors, serving Arnold and Lower Borough, 335-4118.
The key to new car comfort and styling is waiting for you now at Key Lincoln Mercury. Choose the all-new Mercury Cougar, restyled for 87, or the front-wheel drive dependability of an 87 Lynx, Sable, or Topaz. Luxury seekers will love the full-size Grand Marquis or Lincoln Town Car. And arriving in March of 88, look for an all-new Mercury, the front-wheel drive Tracer. Key Lincoln Mercury, 750 Industrial Boulevard, New Kensington.
After one period, as we go to the Bud Light scoreboard now on Road to the Cup, it is Edmonton 2 and Winnipeg 1. Meanwhile, at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, it is a blowout for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Don't adjust your set. The Maple Leafs lead Detroit 5-1. Peter Inachek scored a few moments ago. They're in the third period. The Maple Leafs are going to go up 2-0 and go back to Toronto looking good. Our game, of course, the Jets and the Oilers. Winnipeg got on the board first. In case you tuned in late, let's show you what happened. A giveaway by Mark Messier here. Dale Howardchuk says thank you very much and passes over to Tomas Steen. And Steen beats Grant Fuhr. It is 1-0 Winnipeg. Now Edmonton with the equalizer. Gretzky out to Charlie Huddy. Look at the mass of people in front of Pokey Reddick. They give the goal to Huddy to tie it at 1. And late in the first period, McClellan centering to Steve Smith. Smith in the slot, the defenseman shoots. The save by Reddick, but Dave Hunter comes in and scores as Reddick gave up the rebound in the slot. And it's Edmonton 2 and Winnipeg 1. Edmonton leads this series 1-0. If the Oilers win tonight, they'll be in the driver's seat going back to Edmonton on Saturday, back to Winnipeg on Saturday. And that's it for the Bud Light scoreboard on Road to the Cup.
Who's that? The life of the party, that's who.
There's a super party animal. His name is Buds McKenzie. When the sun shines bright on a cold Bud night, he's in a party frenzy.
He's Spuds McKenzie, the posh pooch of pop culture.
Go, Spuds, go.
Spuds, you're an animal.
Go, go, Spuds, go, go.
At his last tune-up, Jim McGill forgot to change something very important, his engine belts. After 4 years, belts can break anytime. So don't take chances. Next tune-up, get Gates belts. More mechanics install Gates and more people rely on them than any other belt made. Remember, if your car's 4 years old, get Gates before it's too late.
The summer of '87 is gonna be hot because the heat is on already at your Kawasaki dealer with red-hot deals on selected late-model Kawasaki's like Vulcan 750 V-Twins, only $32.99. 454 LTDs, just $21.49. Save on CL 600 and 900 cruisers. Sport bikes, too. Red-hot deals now at your participating Kawasaki dealer. Let the good times roll.
Do I have to be a mom today?
The scent opens your eyes, coast lather, and you realize that coast is the way to make you feel alive. Coast, feel alive.
Hey, I was just warming up.
Feel alive with Coast.
They didn't have the nation's best player or the most colorful coach, but they had what it took to win the national championship. Hoosier Hysteria highlights Indiana, Saturday night on ESPN.
Road to the Cup, the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Red Wing Shoes, the 20-mile-a-day comfort of Red Wing shoes and boots. Well, we are 2-1 as the Edmonton Oilers lead the Winnipeg Jets, and both teams are on the ice at Edmonton getting set for the second period. With that, let's go live back to Northlands Coliseum, where Rick Peckham is standing by with John Davidson.
Rick Peckham back with John Davidson here as we get set for the start of second period action at the Northlands Coliseum. And John, it was pretty nice. I think these teams were too nice to each other the other night, but that's not the case from what we saw at the end of the first period.
Nasty. I think you've seen a lot more board work. The Edmonton Oilers got their tempo up where they wanted it, especially during the second half of that first period. Then they were able to get in and forecheck and bang Winnipeg around in that Winnipeg zone, and they controlled the boards pretty well. I enjoyed the tempo, and I enjoyed the fact that they basically had their sticks down with a lot of hitting.
Reflecting that tough style of play that we saw in the first period, the Edmonton goals have come from unlikely sources, John. Charlie Huddy and a grinder up front, Dave Hunter, while Thomas Steen has the goal for the Winnipeg Jets. We're underway here in the second period as Carlisle throws it into Edmonton territory. Kevin Lowe angles it back down the ice. We'll have an icing called here against the Oilers.
With Messier playing against Howard, Chuck, what Edmonton is trying to do is simply stopping Howard, Chuck, from moving the puck to the wingers. The wingers aren't people you necessarily have to worry about. I'm talking about Mullen and McLean with Howard Chuck. Howard Chuck is the person that sets them up all the time. So you can keep Howard Chuck off of the puck. You're keeping the puck away from Howard Chuck's wingers, and that's the reasoning with Glenn Sather as far as having Messier against Howard Chuck. Face-offs in that first period, Edmonton won 16 of 25. Gretzky was timed that he was on the ice 8 minutes and 23 seconds, and that's more than his average during the playoffs.
Considerably more than was the case here in Game 1 on Tuesday night. Edmonton outshot the Jets 14-11 in the first period.
Grant Fuhr having his goal crease manicured. You know, Grant Fuhr, during a interview or during a story last year in Sports Illustrated, was noted that he is not very organized off the ice as far as business goes. Well, that has changed. Glenn Sather has helped him out, and Grant Fuhr, as far as his business interests go, doing very, very well. And that's good to see because he has more talent, perhaps, than any goaltender in the National Hockey League.
Glenn Anderson is set for the face-off along with his line mates Ken Nielsen and a Messier who controls it back to Kevin Lowe. Here's Messier. He's got Anderson busting through there. Back to Messier. Here's Anderson shooting, and he hit the side of the goal centers. And Muni couldn't gather in the bouncing puck. He was staring into an open net. Dave Ellett allows Howard Chuck to take control. He has a little room. Can't make the play to dunk it. A sprawling Low knocked it down. It's kept in by Marois. Muni is wrapped up, and it's backhanded out. Ken Nielsen. That's it ahead to Anderson. Messier couldn't reach it. Reddick keeps it away. Kent Nielsen, who came over in a deal from Minnesota that upset a lot of people here in the Campbell Conference. Not the least of whom, John Ferguson, that he was able to slip to Edmonton.
And Cliff Fletcher in Calgary didn't like the idea of the trade either. Ken Nielsen, when he first got here, found out he was playing with Anderson and Messier, two of the fastest skaters in the league, and it said it took him a number of games to be able to set his own tempo up so he could keep up with those two fast skating forwards.
Tikkanen glass one and a stick save by Reddick. Here's Gretzky. He's hooked by Carlisle and couldn't reach the puck. Waters can't get it by Ruotsalainen. Gretzky's pass is blocked, and Jim Nill backhands it out. 2-1 Edmonton leading here early in the second period. The Jets have never beaten Edmonton in playoff hockey, and here's Wayne Gretzky. He looks for Reijo Ruotsalainen, backs up, sets it up for Curry, and he was well covered by Waters. Carlisle gets the puck out of trouble. Jari Curry had his pass knocked down by Doug Smale. And Curry lifts it into the Winnipeg bench. 17:45 remaining in the second period, and Edmonton leads it 2-1.
This car has been the world's best-selling car 4 years running. To us, it's also one of the world's best values. Because for about the same price as the leading Japanese imports, you can get this car with air conditioning, power mirrors, and premium sound system. Features the Japanese imports don't include at the same price, making Ford Escort a much sounder value.
Now get 3.9% financing or $600 cash back on Ford Escort.
What in the world has happened to the Detroit Red Wings? They're being blown out at home. This is Russ Courtnall. He'll take the shot on a 2-on-none. The rebound to Steve Thomas, who scores. Toronto 6. Detroit 1. Less than 10 minutes to go in the game. Maple Leafs blowing out the Red Wings. Let's get back to Edmonton.
Edmonton is controlling things on its home ice here. Here's Smale. Trying to get set up, he looks for Thomas Dean, who was rocked on a check in game 1 by Kevin McClellan and missed the rest of the game with a shoulder problem. He's back in action tonight. Coffey. With Olesen going back, he's challenged by Hunter. Hamel helps out for Winnipeg. He slips it out to Doug Smale. 2-on-2 with Steen. Smale lets it go. It's blocked by Huddy. And the Oilers turn the play around quickly, but 3 Jets are back. Hunter lets it go, and a save by Reddick. Gilles Hamel has Brian Mullen busting in there. He's checked by Messier. For the strength of Mark Messier, you saw a good illustration of that. Here's Mullen with a drop pass, and it's broken up by Nilsson. And Nilsson with some nifty stick handling, but he couldn't set up a line mate. And Marois leads it back out of the zone for McBain. Rink-wide pass. Buning got a piece of it. Here's Brian Mullen. McBain gets it back to Mullen. Nobody's in front. Fuhr blocks the pass. Howard Chuck is trying to shake free from Messier. Howard Chuck gets it back. Shoot! Save by Grant Fuhr. McBain in the rebound. Fires into the crease, and it's gloved by Grant Fuhr. Somehow he got a hold of it as Mullen was pulled down in front.
Kevin Lowe will be going to the penalty box. Mullen was in front of the net and got knocked down by Lowe, and the holding will be the call. Winnipeg will get a chance on the power play.
2-1, Edmonton leads here in the second.
Work. Nobody said it would be easy. So Red Wing makes shoes tough and rugged and comfortable, even if you walk 20 miles a day. Nobody said it would be easy, but Red Wing makes it comfortable.
But Lowe is in the penalty box for holding at 3:54. Here's the play.
Mullen tried to establish position. Did not get a rebound because he was laying down. Watch Neufeld work in front of the net if the Jets can develop a power play in the Edmonton zone. Face-off now will go all the way down. Actually, there's going to be a penalty. A holding call to Winnipeg. That's what Morel was looking. He was looking over at the penalty box, signaling holding, but it was a play where I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Morel went to the bench. It's a high stick, and that's why the face-off is in the Winnipeg bench, but Morel skated over to the timekeeper and signaled holding, and I don't know why he did that.
The off-ice officials working this game are from Calgary. They didn't have to travel too far for this.
And the Oilers and Fiddler in the stands trying to get the fans going here, which sometimes how's Calgary's golf game. The fans have enjoyed the fact that the Calgary Flames are no longer in the playoffs.
But their off-ice officials are, and apparently their timekeeper had a little problem with Morel's call earlier. Here's Howard Chuck trying to set up that power play. Paul McLean moved off the puck effectively by Coffey. Huddy gets it out to Hunter, and the Oilers in good shape in killing off the first 35 seconds of this Winnipeg power play. And Carlisle has to turn back. Winnipeg 0 for 1 with a man advantage. They scored the game-opening goal and held the lead for about 10 minutes before the Oilers came to life. And here's Gretzky. He's out there to storm Carlisle. Mario Marois makes the pass to Howard Chuck.
Excuse me, Rick. Winnipeg's power play here just dropping right down, slow motion almost.
McLean tipped it just wide off the shot by Allen, and back comes Gretzky. It's a 3-on-2.
It's going to be a penalty to McLean as Huddy was chopped by McLean in front of Grant Fuhr. Huddy is laying on the ice trying to get up. He's now up skating it off. But Winnipeg, we're on the power play. McLean takes a bad penalty way back behind the play.
Let's say there was a little concern, but Huddy's up. He's okay, and his club leads 2-1.
Choosing a life insurance policy can make anyone feel helpless. You're at the mercy of strangers. Your hands are tied. You feel pressured. But help is never too far away. With Prudential, your agent has the time to talk to you, listen to you, and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you're comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
Paul McLean goes for slashing at 5-12, and each team down a man for 40 seconds. Lowe will be out of the penalty box at that point, and Edmonton will take over with a power play. And Steve Smith will send the Jets back. The Jets have Olesen and Ellett backing up Jill Hamel with a puck, and Thomas Steen, Messier, and Anderson work in front of Ruotsalainen and Smith. As there's a poke check by Steve Smith, it's kept in by Ellett. Mark Messier cruises back at a 2-on-2. He's met by Ellett. Smith takes it. Can't thread the needle. Here's Ellett on a 3-on-2 for Winnipeg. Ellett leaves it. Thomas Steen. With a wild pass at Gretzky steal. Lead pass for Curry. Curry to Ruotsalainen, and he scores!
Play for the Edmonton Oilers. It's a power play goal. Paul McLean was in the penalty box. He had taken a reaction penalty. Ruotsalainen is going to face Jari Kurri and wait for the pass and then shoot it one motion. There you see the play. Reddick with no chance. It was a big pass, a long pass to Kurri. Kurri waits, and there's Ruotsalainen turning, facing the pass, and he one motioned it at home, and there's the defenseman who was up in the offensive zone waiting for the puck to score the goal, and Edmonton take a bad penalty by McLean and turn it into a power play goal.
Ruotsalainen from Jari Kurri and Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky with his second point of the evening. The goal at 6:09, and as John mentioned, it is a power play goal.
And you know, Rick, we mentioned the first pass out of the zone is so important, and that was Gretzky hitting Jari Kurri with that long pass. That caught Winnipeg flat-footed. And Ruotsalainen joined the play, and Dan Maloney very, very upset with Dennis Morrell. Winnipeg were on the power play when McLean took that penalty.
It's now 3-1. The Oilers out in front. Charlie Huddy, who has one of the goals, gives it to Gretzky, and Coffey was blindsided by Marois, but Marois didn't catch a real good piece of it. Jari Kurri's back, drops it for Gretzky. Across to Coffey. He'll take the shot, and it's blocked by Mario Marois. The Jets come out with Doug Smale. Leaves it for Hamel. He's run off the puck by Tikkanen. Huddy looks for help. And he finds Esa Tikkanen. Out for Kurri. Kurri turns back. He'll just backhand it in. The Oilers want to complete a change, and Mario Marois is hounded by Gretzky. And Gretzky eventually catches up to him. Gretzky on the steal. He's got Muti cutting in. He was caught by Howardson. The crowd is upset at the lack of the call there. Lowe drives it back into Winnipeg ice. Glenn Anderson. Here's Lowe with a shot. And it's deflected by Kite. Nielsen to Anderson. He can't find Messier. The pass was blocked. And Marois shovels it out. Pays for that with a stiff hit from Glenn Anderson. Kevin Lowe back to Kent Nielsen. Here's Anderson on the weave. And the drop pass is intercepted by the rookie Ian Duncan. It's backhanded in by Muti. We're 8 minutes into the second period. Edmonton has added to its lead. It's 3-1 Oilers. Smith shovels it ahead, and Waters knocks it down. He looks for Duncan. Howard Chuck was breaking the other way, and the pass is taken by Kevin McClellan. It's deflected ahead to McTavish. He's in a race with Waters. McLean joins the battle along with McClellan. McClellan bothered by Boschman. McTavish makes the play to McClellan. He was all alone, but the pass was a high one, and McClellan couldn't knock it down. Here's Hunter trying to center. It's blocked by Waters. McClellan jams it in behind, and it's chased down by Randy Carlisle. Carlisle tries to make a move on Ruotsalainen. He plays the man, and Hunter takes care of the puck.
Have to be very impressed with the defensive play of the Edmonton Oilers, and one reason is because they have possession of the puck about 80% of the time here in the second period. Winnipeg has hardly had it.
11:09 to go in the second, and Edmonton leads at 3-1.
Have you driven a Ford?
Now you can get low 3.9% financing or $400 cash back on America's award winner, Ford Taurus. And get 3.9 financing or $600 cash back on Ford Escort and Ford Tempo. Combine the cash back with option package discounts, and you can save $1,558 on Tempo, $1,294 on Escort, and $950 on Taurus. Great values at your Ford dealer now.
John, as you mentioned, hockey's a game of possession, and it's been all Oilers here.
Well, Edmonton believe in forechecking, and they believe in playing in the other team's zone. They've held up very well, playing man-on-man defensively, breaking up Winnipeg's offensive thrusts at their own blue line, getting possession and retaining that possession by passing the puck well and spreading out all over the ice. Winnipeg have not had the puck very much here at all in the second period. It's tough to score without the puck.
Jesse with a lead for McSorley. He cuts in at the angle. The backhander's kicked out by Reddick. He got a shove in the back from McBain, and McSorley just kept roaring to the net. Here's a long drive by Smale that's turned away, and Coffey clears it. It's fired back in offside by Olofsson.
See, Winnipeg has taken a long shot there by Smale. That's what they're reduced to doing right now. McSorley with a big offensive play. He outskated McBain and then showed some superior strength and cut to the net, and Reddick had to make a very, very good save. McSorley played junior hockey here in Canada. In fact, he played in Belleville, Ontario. Wayne Gretzky owned the team at the time McSorley was playing junior for it.
Budweiser keeps the action going, so you can enjoy the game. So sit back and enjoy this one. Edmonton leads 3-1. This Bud's for you. Winnipeg looking to generate some offense, and McTavish is out against Howardchuk. Howardchuk working now between Jim Nill, a right-hand shot at left wing, and Neufeld.
Howardchuk has to get a lot more ice time if Winnipeg are going to win this game. They trail by 2. Messier was doing the job on him. Now Maloney's double shifting Dale Howardchuk, their best player.
Kevin McClellan grabs it for the Oilers, takes the drive, and it's gloved by Folke Reddick. Hunter lost control to Neufeld. He sends it out for Nill. Jim Nill brought the puck in offside, and we got the whistle from veteran linesman John D'Amico, who's worked more Stanley Cup games than any other official in the history of Stanley Cup play.
There's Craig Muni, signed as a free agent this past offseason, signed with the Oilers simply because Wayne Gretzky played for the hockey team and he wanted to have a chance to play with him. He was drafted by Toronto in the first round, number 25th overall in the 1980 draft. That was Toronto's first draft. And Punch Imlach was the general manager, and that was one of the last drafts that Punch Imlach made before he retired from hockey.
Muni played only 16 games in the NHL in 4 years with that organization, and he comes here to Edmonton. He was a plus 45 this year.
Playing with Kevin Lowe didn't hurt him either. Kevin Lowe's a fine defense partner, and they were on the ice a lot when Gretzky's line was on the ice throughout the regular season.
We're halfway through the second period with Edmonton leading 3-1. Tikkanen taken down by Thomas Steen. Hamel in there prying it away, and it comes free to Jari Kurri. Gretzky trying to put it back on Curry's stick. Ruotsalainen races to get there. He feeds Steve Smith. Kurri was checked by Hamel. It's taken by Tikkanen. He's checked by Doug Smale. Kurri has it once again. In for Gretzky. Back out to Ruotsalainen. His shot hit Tikkanen, who was dumped by Doug Smale. Smale starts it out for Winnipeg. He's held up immediately by Jari Kurri, one of the top defensive forwards in the NHL. Carlisle takes the drive, and it's wide of Fuhr. John, once again, we see a long drive from center, and that's all the Jets have been able to muster so far in the second period.
Jets have been unable to get into that Oilers zone. The Oilers aren't giving up 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s. They've really tightened up for the playoffs. You can see they're well prepared for the Jets.
McLean beats Brian Mullen. Snaps one off, and it hit Huddy. Mullen is bumped by Messier. Nielsen takes over. He swings away from Howard Chuck. McLean is in there to stalk him. Huddy makes the pass across to Glenn Anderson. He's bumped by Howard Chuck. Ullison did not keep it in, and we got the whistle for the offside. 8:25 remaining here in the second, and Edmonton leads Winnipeg 3-1.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
The Jets trailing here 3-1 in the second period, looking for their first ever Stanley Cup playoff win against Edmonton. They've been swept in 3 previous series, and they're facing the possibility of going home in this best-of-7, down 2-0 unless they can get things turned around offensively here at the Northlands Coliseum.
Well, they've continued quick line changes. They just put Howard Chuck back on the ice against Edmonton's fourth line.
Here's McSorley. He's bumped. Krushelnyski is held off by Reddick. And a save once again by Reddick. And we've got a cross-checking call upcoming to the Winnipeg Jets.
And that fourth line went down and did the job for Glenn Stater's Oilers. Very close to scoring, and they drew a penalty. Marois will be called for cross-checking. The Oilers that parked themselves in front. Big body checks right here. Bang. You see the Edmonton Oilers control the boards with their bigger players. McSorley goes to the front of the net. Now Krushelnyski's there, and he gets cross-checked, bang, from behind by Marois, and Burrell made the call. The big players for Edmonton getting deep in the Winnipeg zone, working the boards, drawing penalties, getting scoring chances. The Oilers are clicking right now.
Wayne Gretzky has said throughout the season, hey, we've got to have more than just 2 lines going. They've got to take the pressure off once in a while, the third and fourth lines, and that's certainly been the case here tonight.
Well, they're the bigger, stronger players down in the lower half of the lineup for the Oilers. Not quite as many skills as the Gretzkys and Andersons, so they use their strengths, and they use their size as much as possible, and it's tough to beat the bigger players along the board when they're there working. So Edmonton on the power play now. Pekin and Curry have switched sides for their power play. Switched wings, that is.
Randy Carlyle backhands it to Waters. It's a veteran defense tandem working with Wilson and Bosch, but up front on the penalty-killing unit for the Jets, the best in the league through the regular season. And they've done an outstanding job in this series. Edmonton is 1 for 9. They scored on their last opportunity against the Jets in the 2 games thus far. Here's Gretzky. He's out with Huddy and Coffey backing up the Gretzky line. Waters slams it by Huddy. Smale races in there. Huddy gets it away, hands it right to Smale. He lost the handle. Curry is bumped by Wilson. Dave Ellett will take the long drive, and it's handled easily by Grand Pure. 1:10 remaining of the penalty. Here's the lead for Gretzky, poked away by Carlyle, and the play is offside with a 3-1 lead for Edmonton here. Let's check in with Tom Mees.
All right, Rick Peckham, thank you very much. Little consolation for the Detroit Red Wings, but coming up ice are Brent Ashton and Adam Oates. Oates on the left wing here. He'll feed to the cutting Ashton. Acquired in a trade from Quebec, Ashton shoots and scores, but don't be deceived. Toronto is winning it in a walk, 7-2 late in the third period. Let's go back to Edmonton.
The Oilers have a minute to go on the power play with Marois on the box for cross-checking. Rookie goaltender Pokey Reddick left it for Carlyle. It's dug away by Messier. In Carlyle trade elbows, Glenn Anderson tries to scoot away from Steve. Kent Nielsen. Back to Ruotsalainen, and the shot went wide as Ruotsalainen didn't get good wood on it. Kite gets it out for Andrew McBain, and the big winger sends the Oilers back with 32 seconds remaining on the Edmonton power play. Gretzky's on with Nilsson and Anderson. Smith and Ruotsalainen are now the Edmonton point men. Anderson back to Ruotsalainen, across to Steve Smith. Smith fires across, and Carlisle knocked it down. He'll send McBain and Wilson back. Ron Wilson, shoot, save by Fuhr as he tested him with that drive. Ruotsalainen with a penalty expiring to Marois. Gretzky makes the pass to Lowe, and he did not have it in the zone. He brought it back in offside. Jets are back to full strength, but they trailed here in the second period, 3-1.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Let's step outside. Okay, now we agree that my Toyota's priced about the same as your Ford Ranger, right? Right. And we both have AM/FM cassettes, 5-speed sticks, and power brakes, right? Right. So what else does your Ranger have for about the same money? Okay. My Ranger also has power steering, power windows, and door locks. Really? Cast aluminum wheels, fuel-injected engine, interval wipers, and halogen headlights. All that extra on Ranger for about the same money as my Toyota? Yep. Still friends? Well, still brothers.
Get 3.9% financing or $500 cash back on Ford Ranger.
John Muckler is one of the coaches with the Edmonton Oilers. He spends his off-season in Providence, Rhode Island. He is also the specialty team coach, Rick, and he wouldn't be very happy with that last power play that the Oilers had. Winnipeg had the best scoring chance, and that was a 2-on-1, and Wilson took the slap shot. But Edmonton, sometimes with all that talent on the power play, tend to stand still in the offensive zone. Muckler would like a lot more movement and flow from that power play.
Dave Elliott gets it back for Winnipeg. He goes to Ian Duncan. Duncan is wrapped up by Hunter. It's taken by McClellan. 5:40 remaining here in the second period. Winnipeg scored first on the goal by Steen off the steal by Howard-Chuck, but Edmonton has dominated since then. McClellan, normally a center, he's on right wing on this unit with McTavish and Hunter. As McTavish tries it away, Hunter the quick shot save, and Riddick stops McClellan on the rebound. And here comes McLean off to the races against Lowe. The wrist shot is deflected wide. McClellan sends it back out to Krushelnyski. Edmonton's third and fourth lines continue their offensive effectiveness. It's thrown in the goal mouth, and Riddick drops it for Kite. Howard-Chuck with a long pass over two lines to Paul McLean.
Once again, Rick, it was a offensive chance by Edmonton starting along the boards behind the net. McLean had the last shot that Winnipeg had, and it was a shot, it's a wrist shot. McLean had problems last year with a situation where his muscles in his stomach were pinched and a nerve was pinched, and it caused a problem and a lot of pain. The doctors put a lift in his left shoe, and he worked on the muscles a bit, and it cleared it up. And he's had a much better season as far as scoring goes. The muscles were very sore in the stomach area, and it pinched a nerve, and he couldn't play with the pain. Went to Los Angeles, saw some doctors, who straightened out the problems for Paul McLean. His year has been much better.
There was a rash of abdominal injuries there. As it started with Al Secord, Lanny McDonald was hurt, then McLean, Sylvain Turgeon, and Hartford. The only thing was common was that they were all hurt in mysterious manner in the abdominal muscles, but they all got the injuries in different manners. Here's the shot they score. Solomay converts on Krushelnyski's centering pass, and Edmonton now leads it 4-1.
Edmonton have two men along the boards and one man in front of the net. There's LeMay. He bangs it past Riddick, but it was the work along the boards. We've talked about it a lot. They dump it in, and they go right after Jim Kite. There's the check. First man, the second man gets a loose puck. And you're going to see LeMay park himself in front. There's the puck, and bang. That's a well-executed forechecking plan by the Oilers. And Rick, those third and fourth lines for the Oilers really doing a job here. Just work, and they're banging people, and they're controlling the puck. And Mo LeMay, who was acquired from Vancouver this past regular season does the job. Harry Neal used to coach Mo LeMay, and he says he's got great skills. He skates well, shoots the puck well, he's smart. You saw where his position was on that goal, but he does not do it for 60 minutes in a hockey game. Now here, with the Oilers, he's on the fourth line. So a lot of the times, the fourth line will not get as much ice time. That may be better for Mo LeMay. Every time he gets a chance to play, which isn't that often, he can play as well as he can.
As the linesmen combine to patch a hole in the ice, LeMay scoring his second goal from Krushelnyski at 15:23. And it has not been Fancy Dan hockey, the wide-open, typical Edmonton style that has worked for them tonight. It's the grinded-out type of hockey that you expect to see in Stanley Cup play that has worked for Edmonton and produced a 4-1 advantage. Here's the pass for Jim Nell. It's poked away by Ruotsalainen, and Mo LeMay sends it back for Krushelnyski. Drop pass, McSorley's well covered. He persists, though. Carlisle has plenty of time. Makes the pass ahead for Boschman. 4:09 to go here in the second period, and Edmonton leads 4-1 as McSorley sends it back into the zone. Waters banks it to Boschman. His pass is blocked by LeMay. The Jets just can't get going. Here's a steal by Smith. Waters holds him up. Messier rushes in there, takes the shot, and it's kicked out by Reddick. He was leaning the other way.
That's that wrist shot that Messier has when he's in the skating motion. Very, very tricky, and goaltenders don't expect it. Mill and Smith now pushing and shoving. Winnipeg have had 5 shots here in the second period, only 1 from inside the top of the circle, and that was a short-handed shot by Wilson. Edmonton have played a very, very smart hockey game.
The frustration is beginning to show with Winnipeg. Nil took exception to Ruotsalainen pulling him across the line to force the offside. Wayne Gretzky says, hey, we're in control here 4-1. And that's what started the skirmish between Smith and Nil. Gretzky with a couple of assists. He's up to 192 career playoff points, and he's the all-time leading scorer in Stanley Cup history.
Think about Wayne Gretzky winning the scoring championship during the regular seasons. He's won it by 75 points one year, 74 points another year, 73 points, 79 points 3 years ago. Esposito was the scoring race, Phil that is, 5 different times. The largest margin he ever won it by was 26 points. Unbelievable play by Wayne Gretzky year after year.
It has not even been close in the last 7 years since he's taken over the scoring championship. And he wasn't even going that well, certainly not up to his high standards at the end of the regular season. So what's he do? He busts out and dazzles the Los Angeles Kings with 15 points in 4 games. Now Curry takes a shot from Kite. They went off for penalties early in the first period.
Rick, they battled with each other a number of times throughout this hockey game. Curry bumped into Kite a few seconds ago in the Edmonton zone. This is what has resulted from that check. Kite is frustrated, and he is trying to knock Curry down. Now, Curry's a right winger. Kite's a left defenseman. Once again, Edmonton are going a lot to the left side of Winnipeg's defense, and that's Curry and Kite as a matchup a lot throughout the hockey game. With a one-sided score, frustration will set in sometimes, and this may get nasty as the game progresses.
3:18 remaining in the second period as Kite sails the pass by Curry. Smale looks for Gilles Hamel. Back for Big Jim Kite. And he runs at Muni with a stick up. And they're still tangled up as Lowe makes the play out to Curry. Jari Curry drops it. Tikkanen took his eye away from the play, but recovers it for Lowe. Back in front, it's Gretzky. Over to Curry, and he couldn't pull the trigger.
You know, Edmonton got out of the zone that time. Kite was trapped in with Muni, so Curry went to that open spot, and Edmonton fed the puck out to that open area and created a goal-scoring chance.
Jari Curry is back for the Oilers. Gretzky stays on. His line mates change as Waters scoops it up. Carlisle gets tangled up with Gretzky behind the play. Here's Hamel. Rink wide to Brian Mullet. He'll take the shot, but over there to block it was Huddy. Coffey chases down the loose puck, can't get it by Waters. His drive is into the pads of Fuhr. McTavish. On the wave, it's Coffey busting in. McLean on him. The backhander is stopped by Pokey Reddick. McTavish beats the point. It's Huddy, the shot. Knocked down as it hit McClellan square in the back. Huddy once again with a pass, and he was able to recover it as Howardcheck blocked it. Coffey will just send it right back down into Winnipeg territory. Icing the call against the Edmonton Oilers.
I have not seen the Edmonton Oilers play a better defensive period of hockey in a long, long time. They are playing it in the Winnipeg zone. They are getting to the loose pucks. They are banging people off the puck. You know, with their third and fourth lines playing as much as they are in this series, the team has an overall better feeling about itself. In other words, the third and fourth liners don't feel like excess baggage. They feel like they're a major part of it, and it is certainly showing. Those people are playing very, very
well. They're out of the northwest. It's
but not until tomorrow evening. Flow up aloft finally
off after the LA series. Prior to the start of this one Tuesday night, the Oilers didn't really look that sharp offensively, but they've had it working in all cylinders tonight. Boschman and Messier on that draw. Boschman is tossed out of there with 1:44 remaining here in the second period. And Gord Brasiker, the native of Baltimore, tries to get everybody backed up in the rim of the circle. Ruotsalainen can't get it out tight with a shot that's wide. Boschman looks for Neufeld, and he just jams it wide over the shoulder of Smith. Kent Nielsen goes rink wide. Messier busts in alone. Messier on the backhand. Saved by Pokey Reddick as he snatched that one out of the air.
Winnipeg had an offensive chance, and it resulted because they won the faceoff in the Edmonton zone. They finally got some offense, and then once Edmonton got out of the zone, that's the pass over to Messier from Kent Nielsen. Now Messier's going to wait. Show patience. Wait. But Reddick got his catching hand across, and Messier could not get the puck up high on Pokey Reddick. Reddick stayed with Messier across the net and made a fine save. Pokey Reddick, who played in the International Hockey League in 84-85. There were some good goaltenders Rick that played back in the eye in those days.
Reddick jumping from the IHL to the NHL this year. What a surprise he was in training camp for Winnipeg, and he had an outstanding season with a 3.24 goals against. Here's Olesen with a long pass in. Duncan sends it across to Ray Neufeld with a minute to go in the second period. The Jets want to get one on the board here. Ellett cuts in. Backhander stopped by Fuhr. The rebound is loose. They score. Neufeld and Ellett were both reaching for it. I think Neufeld got it to cut it to 4-2.
There was a delayed penalty coming up to Edmonton when Winnipeg score. They forced a play within the last minute of the period. End up getting a rebound, the first rebound shot they've had this period. You'll see Ellett go to the net, and you'll see Winnipeg converge on Grant Fuhr. And in there's Neufeld, and I believe he popped the puck home behind Reijo Ruotsalainen. Now Ruotsalainen is a defenseman, ends up back up at the blue line, which in turn leaves an opening in front of the net. Winnipeg went to the net, found themselves a loose puck, and they score late, and this will give them some hope for the third period.
Neufeld with his first goal of the playoffs. Ian Duncan and Ellett assist on the goal at 19:04. 45 seconds remaining in the period. It's deflected out by McBain. Racing back, it's Muni. Nill picks it up, and he had Wilson offside. Well, that has quieted the Northlands Coliseum crowd down a bit. They made as much noise tonight as any night this season.
When Edmonton picked up Marty McSorley from Pittsburgh, Edmonton really checked the character out of hockey players. They don't just go by the numbers of goals and assists, and they were very happy to find that he's a tough player, he's a team player, and they could use him. And here he's jostling with Nill for a position for the faceoff. Morrell, the referee, comes all the way over to have words with McSorley. McSorley's way over on the Winnipeg side of the faceoff area.
He dropped him with Kite near the end of the first period, and a pretty good bout between those two as Kite is hounded by McSorley. Marois gets it out. Craig Muty is bumped by Ron Wilson. Nill is in there to work the boards with McBain. 15 seconds to go in the period as the Oilers clear it. And McSorley swings by Kite. Krushelnyski takes it with 5 seconds to go. And the Oilers will wait it out. The Winnipeg Jets, John, had the last word scoring-wise in this second period. Finally, they get one past Grant Fuhr, and it's got to give them a lift going into the third.
It should. You know, there's a saying when you play Edmonton, neutralize the best and try and beat the rest. Well, it's the rest that have really hurt Winnipeg. And Neufeld scored, or excuse me, LeMay scored, Hunter scored, Huddy scored. Edmonton are in pretty good shape.
Ray Neufeld scored from Ellett and Duncan at 19:04 to bring the Jets back. Edmonton leads here at the second intermission by the count of 4-2.
Look, here he comes.
That's a super party animal. His name is Spud McKenzie.
Spud McKenzie.
A real hot night and a cold Bud Light puts him in a party frenzy. He's Spud McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
That's Spuds. He is the party.